Welcome to One Night Stand with Richard Shepard. I'm your host, Richard Shepard. In today's episode, we're going to have a live performance by yours truly. We're going to have an interview with singer-songwriter Michelle DeAngelis, and I'm going to be reviewing her album, Angelism. And we're going to be doing some overrated, underrated segments later on in the show. Let's get into it.
It's like a bass thumping guitar technique. Oof. What a set. Woo! This kid's a star. Ooh! 7-string guitar? I hear R&B, I hear soul in this, I hear hip hop in this. Even though this is a live band, like, oh, switch scenes to the warehouse. Hey man, my next video is in a warehouse. All these guys are sick players. Woo! Sick. Woo! I love that chair. This guy's ill too. Oh my god. Woo! That drummer is sick. Those hi-hat patterns are crazy. Those sweeping patterns are no joke. What a great bass player, great tone. This looks like Brooklyn. Oh, what a beautiful breakdown. The King, Steve Vai. The fact that they put him in this video is just so unbelievable. This is the second time I've seen this. The first time I got chills seeing the reveal for Steve Vai. This section is beautiful. The build. Steve's amazing. Oof. What a shot. What a beautiful video shot. That drop is crazy. This is so great to have, in my opinion, these kids. Polyphia is like the future of guitar instrumental music. They're like the heirs to what Steve Vai started years and years ago. I mean, there's more to it than that, of course. Oh, those harmonies are crazy. Amazing. Amazing. Who's this guy? Adios, amigos. Adios. Fucking unbelievable. The concepts that they're utilizing already, I can't wait to see what's going to sound like in even 2 or 3, even 5 years, what this band is going to be able to achieve. I wish them so much success. They are an absolutely stunning band. I need to learn some of these techniques to teach to my guitar students. And just for my own sake, this band is going to be pushing the future of the guitar in the world. I mean, I think this band is absolutely freaking stunning. I love the balance of their visual presentation, but sonically they are moving into a league of their own. You know how Queen has a sound and people are like, oh, they're trying to sound like Queen, or those are Queen-like harmonies, or they sound like the Beatles, they sound like Polyphia has moved into territory where people are now going to be emulating that style. Much success to the boys. All right, so I'm going to start with overrated, underrated. Polyphia. I believe that Polyphia is grossly underrated. I know they get millions of views worldwide, but I believe this is just the beginning for these young stars that are going to be changing the future of the guitar. Their sound is completely unique. I think they've just begun to scratch their potential. Grossly underrated to what's coming for them in the future. Live performances. Live performances are grossly underrated. Concerts can be transformative experiences, not only for the listener, but for communities. Live performances, grossly underrated. Hey, if you're enjoying this video, please remember to comment and subscribe. If you're at the beginning stage of learning the guitar and you want some help and you don't want to do it alone by watching a gazillion YouTube videos, go to heroesofmusicinstitute.com and sign up for our 12-week course, Guitar Greatness. We'll take you from the very beginnings, the very fundamental stuff you need to know, and we'll get you to the intermediate level as soon as possible. Sign up today. I can't believe what we went through. Oh, we became and tried to do. Hurting each other with pride, hurting each other for lies over and over again. Hurting each other inside, hurting each other goodbyes over and over again. Raise the white flag, that's how we survived. Raise the white flag for the last time. We gave all that we had. Now the only thing that stands, white flag. I know I was so mean and cruel. You played me for a fool. other for fun, hurting each other to run further and further away. Hurting each other so cold, hurting each other to fold further and further away. Raise the white flag, that's how we survived. Raise the white flag for the last time. We gave all that we had. Now the only thing that stands, white flag. White flag. I have the camera over here to the side, but you're right here. You're right here.
Okay.
All right. I haven't done Zoom in a few months. I haven't.
You have a nice setup.
Oh, thank you. It's a nice camera. It's a nice camera with a nice little lens. And
Yeah, very nice.
We moved, and the studio is beautiful now. It's like it's so
That's
nice.
amazing.
Yeah, it's so good to see you.
You too.
It's so good to see you, dude. How did I? So I told you years ago. I'm embarrassed. I really wanted to start like I wanted to start a podcast, and I wanted you to be my first guest. So like getting the I know you're busy on the weekends, and like, so I just wanted to call, and I listened to your first album. I was like, maybe I can do something through Zoom. So I'm filming this so I can like chop it up and use it, because I listened to your first album, Shell, and forgive me, but I never heard it before. And is it Angelism?
Yeah.
Shell, this album is fucking awesome.
Thank you.
I mean, it's awesome.
Thank you. You know, I think that I just kind of put it out. I didn't really.
Let me stop you right there.
Okay, yeah.
Shell, I after I listened to the album, I was listening to it. I was like, oh my, it freaking got it's how I've always wanted to hear you. It's how I always thought. It's like this is Shell needs like an album. This is your album. It's an album. Like, forgive me for asking, but like whoever produced it did a stellar job.
Well, I'm trying to think of the tracks on there.
Glimmer of Hope.
Okay, that was done with.
Goodbye. You mean it's different producers?
Yeah. Like Glimmer of Hope was a song that I wrote specifically for that global warming company and show. And then it was myself and this other guy named Naheem. And then the bass player who I was working with for a while, he did some of the organ parts. But it was basically us three that did that. And even after Goodbye was my daughter's father did that, as well as Handle. We did those together, string arrangements, and yeah. He's a dope like dance producer, and yeah, he did. You know, it's funny because like recently I have more music that he and I did together, and I was like, oh my gosh, these are so amazing. And I was like, I have to put out
the songs are incredible.
Thank you. I don't know what else is on there. I kind of forgotten. Meridian. That was just me and the keyboard.
Today is a day. If it's all right. I mean, this is like full of bangers, Shell.
If it's all right.
The other side.
Thank
Oh
you. If it's all right was Matt Noble. He's up in Bronxville. I wrote that song in like 2010. Like that was a 2010 recording. Like 2009. Today is the day is like 2010. Today is the day is a song that I wrote because I don't know if you know, but like I was in like a mental hospital, and you know, I was going through my separation with my daughter's father, and you know, he said some things about, you know, and about me getting well, and I was just like, okay, well, I'm gonna get well, you know what I mean? So that was how that song came about.
Yeah.
But
amazing.
Yeah, I love the recordings. They're old, but I mean they're not old to you, but to me, you know.
And that's why I wanted to reach out to you, because it just reaffirms to me something that I've always have known. But this further solidifies it, is that your catalog is freaking powerful. When you have a catalog of songs, you don't know when someone is discovering it for the very first time. Like me, when I you know, I've seen you play live. I've heard you in so many different kinds of situations. I'm like, Shell's a beast. She's a pro. She's amazing. You can put her in any situation. But for the life of me, I always thought you hadn't yet recorded the album that was in my mind. But then I heard Angelism, and I was like, this is it. This is it. This is it.
But it wasn't even like planned. It was just a collection of material that I had done over time.
And that freaks me out. That freaks me out even more, because it seems like a focused body of work. Like it seems cohesive, and your vocals.
Really? Oh my gosh! Thank you. I don't know it.
Sound so freaking awesome, Shell. Like,
thank you.
Like stylistically, it's all there. Like, you know, the production on your vocals is excellent. The background vocals, the lyrics are. I mean, I can't say enough. I was floored. I was floored when I heard it. I was like, this is it. And it also made me think that, you know, I was like, why haven't I heard this? I was like, why hasn't this been pushed into my face to listen to? You know, and like, that's the thing. Sometimes I suffer from it too. I was listening to my own albums this morning, and I was like, this is fucking good. This is really good. Like, I'm really good, you know? But what was different between that and some other albums? Maybe some albums I'll put out and I promote, you know, I'll put dollars behind it. When I heard Angelism, Shell, I got to be honest, the first thing I thought of, it was like, I saw you, I was like, this is one sync away. This is one placement away from being a gargantuan album. I'm saying, listen, I stopped lying many years ago. I don't know you a nickel. We're homies, but you know, I swear to God, I was listening to it. I was like, this is one placement. This is one sync on the right TV show. And this is huge.
Is Alone on there? I think so.
Alone is track 4.
Yeah, that was done by Joe Manona. Yeah, like 2012, 2013, maybe, 2014, the latest. It's just like a collection of stuff that I did over time. And I mean, it's interesting that you like my vocals because that was the one thing, like, I feel like finally now I enjoy how I sound, but I never would like how I sounded. And, sometimes that would stop me from maybe my own promotion, or I really don't even know, I don't really even know why, but like the only songs that I really promoted was Glimmer of Hope because of that show. I made like a my own little music video for Even After Goodbye with my phone, which actually got a lot of plays. It's really bizarre.
Yeah,
And
I can see that.
and then the other songs were Not Your Girl, which isn't on there. That's a single. And then Can You Hear Me, which is a single. But I didn't really, just put it out.
No, listen, I know exactly what you're talking about. The things that you said, about your voice. It's so typical of singers. I know exactly what the freak you're talking about. I know exactly. And so you don't get behind. But you know what? It's not even your freaking job to judge what it is you do. You do what you do, right? You make it and you put it out. That it's not like it's something inside you that needed to come out. It came out. It was written. It was something creative, whether collaborative or whether a scratch you needed to scratch. You scratched it. You put it out. And I'm calling you now, years later, telling you how awesome this work is, and listen, like, my business brain that's the first thing I thought of, Shel. I was like, this is one placement away from big, like Rachel Platten numbers. I also thought, I was like, this is you tour behind an album like this. This is an album you tour behind for a year, 2 years straight, like, because I've traveled around, and this is the kind of material like you could hear this. You could hear it in Chicago at clubs. You could hear it in North Dakota. You could hear it in New Orleans. It's just an album that I think the country would love. Like, it's not the world, but like, I just thought, like, I was like, why isn't this a booking agent should be booking her and, like, on a West Coast tour, all up and down, and just working it relentlessly. It sounds to me like one of those albums that you could kind of get behind. That was my first instinct when I heard it. I was like, oh my God, because it's awesome. Lyrically, sonically, I think it can hang with anything.
Really? Wow.
It's on a playlist with Alicia Keys and some other, like, I think people would add it to, again, the visibility of it, like, I think it's one of those albums that if the right music programmer heard it, and I had to call you. I was like, can we talk about this album? I was so curious. I was like, how did she do this? and why haven't I heard it? Like, the independent artist in me was like, dude, take Facebook ads on this, just let, like, reissue, like, I get so gun-ho, I get so hyped, because it's weird that I'm hearing this for the first time, but I'm glad, because this is your catalog. A music publisher told me that once. He's like, Rich, you own your own publishing for most of your. I was like, with the exception of one album, a couple of, like, commercial jingles and stuff, I own all my own publishing. He's like, that dude, you potentially could be sitting on gold. And I'm going to say the same thing to you. You could potentially be sitting on a gold mine and not even know it. I'm not saying that to gas you up. It's just the facts. You know how it is. One sync, one placement, and it's a different ball game. but just also too, like, let's just go back to the music. Let's get the the business side out of it. I know I jump right into but musically, I mean, if you don't mind, let me just share this screen real quick. Share sound. I don't know what it's gonna sound like over here. Hopefully I don't kill us. I'm gonna skip Glimmer of Hope because even after Goodbye.
Yeah.
You know, you could open Ollie.
No matter if you go, no matter if you stay, I'll make it through. There's no other way.
People need to hear those words, Shell. People need to hear those words, you know? Your playing is fucking crazy.
I could stand out in the rain. It wouldn't matter to me if it could take me some other place that you and I will never be. I gotta get all of my thoughts on the paper before you come cloud them away. You know when it's over, oh when it's over, there's some things that you just can't change. You'll never handle, you'll never handle, you'll never handle me.
Fucking excellent, dude. It's crazy. Meridian is like, that chorus is and the other side.
We were in love, for love like this I prayed. I wanted to be with you every single day. I thought that you were the highest high. And then it fell apart, I didn't know where. And when I cried my tears, you didn't even care. I was lost inside of the fist you gave me. It was harder than anything I ever felt before. This is for every time you said I never get through the door. Oh, oh, Meridian, believe it, I'm gonna make it on. And I won't ever hate you 'cause you hurt me, hurt you 'cause you know me like you get into me. My fire won't ever fade. Meridian. The years go by.
Come on. Are you kidding me?
Thank you.
This one, the other side, is a clap. Like, people will sample that. I bet you $10,000.
Wow.
That intro. I want to sample it, cut out of it.
Engines always
I guarantee it. I guarantee it.
running. We keep missing the train. It's It's like we're almost touching, and then you fade away.
Oh,
Fade away. Your eyes are like heaven. Your love feels like rain.
come on, man. Come on. I'm sorry. Come on.
I die a little inside when I hear your name. But how long will this take? How much longer before I break? But I'm gonna say just how I feel, even though I know it's wrong to say. Gonna hold on to your love, hold on to your love till I'm alright, until I can't find I'm on the other side.
Come on, man. Come on. Come on. Today is a day.
I haven't listened to that in a long time.
Yeah.
So you could be, this could like support Imagine Dragons. This, you could open for Maroon 5. You could go out with Taylor, you know, like it does. It's that strong of an album. In my,
Thank you so much.
not even in my humble opinion, it's that strong of an album.
Well, I worked hard on those songs, you know. It was like it was really those songs, they bring back like, damn, the emotions and the stuff that was going on. It was a lot.
Oh, man.
Yeah, but you know, I haven't listened to the other side in so long. It's funny, you said two things: placements, which I was listening to another song that I have called Where We Belong, which I never put out, but I think I will, which is also done by my daughter's father. But well, I wrote it, and Matt Noble, who also did the If It's All Right, he did some of the production too. And I was like, oh my God, this would be great for a commercial, or you know, anything like that. Was like it basically, the lyrics are nobody really knows what the hell we're doing. We're just trying to find out where we belong, you know. That's basically the message. And I was just like, this is like, you know, and so you said placements. I'm like, oh wow, I was just thinking about that. And then you also said Rachel Platten, and I played for many years with I forget, oh my gosh, with Papagayo, who is like kind of a well-known New York City drummer type. You know, he gets together groups, and he's like also an Aquarius. You're an Aquarius. Also, Lily's dad, my daughter's father, is an Aquarius, but I just had to throw that in there. But he played for Rachel Platten before she was big, and recently I was looking at a picture of me and Papagayo together playing, and I was like thinking about that. It's just
Yeah.
pretty cool stuff.
I mean, like I before this conversation, that was the name that kind of just like it jumped out at me, you know, like that. There's such a, yeah, she's a Brooklyn girl. She's a Brooklyn girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a Brooklyn girl. I was on her mailing list. She used to play some of the,
Wow.
you know, and again, she was relentless, and one placement, and boom. it's a whole different ballgame. You know, I listen to it now and I'm like, that's what the possibility, I'm not saying anything's going to happen. It's just, if I'm hearing it, I'm freaking out about it. And I know you, like, it's like, it feels like when I listened to it, I was like, oh, this is it. This is the album I've always wanted to hear from Shell. Because when I recorded you live, you know, I was like, this is Shell, man. She needs a live. And then I saw that Glimmer of Hope thing, but no. No, I was like, I saw, what did I did? Oh, I was putting my podcast together, right? And I was like, Shell's got to be the first guest. The first guest on my podcast. She's got to be the first guest. Oh, I'm not doing it. Okay. So, thank you for doing this. And then let me listen. Let me see if she's got anything on Spotify. I was like, oh my God, fuck. Look, I listened to some of your singles that you've been putting out. I was like, wow, this is really cool. But then I was like, let me see what's the first thing she put out. Because I'm always fascinated. What's our first step? What's our first work that we put out into the world? You know. And I heard it. And I was like, this is it. This is an opus. This is why she gets called. This is why if people come across this album, like, they'll book her right away. You know, it's a no-brainer. You know.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know what you put to, like, you could send this to. I don't know. I don't know if you shopped it at all, but like.
I honestly haven't done anything, to be honest, because I really don't even know what approach to take, you know? And so I get too overwhelmed, and then I'm just like, just leave. You know what I mean?
Yeah. As a creative, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Like, as a creative person also, like, I start to see it, like, when I work with artists, because I'm not in their shoes, I can see a kind of a panoramic view of what's possible. And any artist that has kind of taken me up on my kind of advice, if you will, or my consulting, or whatever you want to call it, has done business. They've always done business, you know. For example, Masaya, this group that I worked with in 2013, I sat them down and I was like, they were a couple. They still are. They're, you know, God bless them. I told them, like, guys, I think this record that we did together is going to do business. Start being prepared to talk about your relationship, or if you want to talk about it at all, because you're making music together, you're a couple, and, like, you should be prepared for people to be curious about that and its connection to the music that you're making. And they were like, what? They're like, what are you talking about? And I was like, no, I think this record that we made together is going to attract eyeballs, I think, for the market that we're in. And sure enough, they got a beer sponsorship. They got offers to go fly down to Brazil. You know, my booking agent came from Germany to come check them out. You know, they started playing outdoor festivals, like, it was rolling. And then, you know, things, you know, certain opportunities went a different way, and it didn't pan out. It panned out in the way it was supposed to pan out, right? But I hear this record and I get the same feeling, Shell. I get the same feeling. I was like, this is big business.
I always believed in it. I believed in the quality of the recordings.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just I don't know the business portion.
Let me interrupt you again, because and forgive me. It's just, I know exactly the reason I brought that up is because the situation with the band that I work with. The reason I brought that up is because handling the creative requires maximum attention, and business requires maximum attention as well, you know, almost to the point where you can't do anything else. Like, the balancing act, Like, look at Jay-Z. Jay-Z would not be Jay-Z if there wasn't for Dame Dash. There's no two ways about it. He needed to focus on the creative in the beginning, even though he had business acumen. In the beginning, without Dame Dash, there'd be nothing. There'd be nothing.
I played with Dame Dash maybe 2 years ago in some random, I don't know where I was at, how I got there, but he was playing drums and I was on stage making up some random thing, and he gave me a hug afterwards.
There you go. There you go. I mean, like that's the point I'm trying to make, is that artists, for projects to be taken to marketplace, requires teams. You know, if and especially if the album was enshrouded, like at the time, if it's enshrouded in, like, I was hesitant to ask because I knew that your album, some of your work in the past, was connected to a phase in your life. I listen to certain songs of mine that are connected to a phase or a relationship. But after time has passed, I listen to those recordings and all those feelings most of them are gone. I could go back there, but most of those feelings are gone.
Oh, they're definitely gone. I'm proud of the creations that came from that time, for sure. Yeah, I mean,
no, I say that because it's like I'm like, this work needs representation.
And it's, I was having this discussion with another artist recently about the disconnect that you have to create. You could perform material, and you can go into the feelings for the song, but you don't have to stay there. You don't have to stay in that whatever emotion you're trying to bring. So I'm glad that they came out the way that they did, because it's not there's things that I'm gonna hear that I'm like, oh, that was a punch, or oh, that was whatever, or a little tiny thing in my voice, but that's my issue. It's like nothing is good enough, but at some point, I have to say it's good enough. And I'm proud of the material because I know where it came from. I know how hard it was to create, like, all those songs and all the time I spent. Yeah.
Everything you just said, like, I felt like, oh my God, have I not said those same words to myself? Like, that was a punch. Can I tell you, when I was listening to it, I didn't hear any of that stuff. And I work in a recording studio like 12 hours a day, and I heard none of it. All I heard, Shell, was awesomeness.
Thank you.
You're awesome. You're awesome.
Thank you. So are you.
Dude, I mean it, like, and I'm so glad that you said what you just said, because I think any artist that hears what you just said can relate to it. And I think your words, some artist needs to hear that. And the fact that you said it and it echoed in my heart, I was like, how many times have I said that to myself? And it's true. It's like, our job is to make it the best that we can make it, then put it out into the world the best that we can, and then that's it. That's it.
Right.
That's it. That's the work. That's the best that you could do at that particular time.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Go do another one.
It's kind of like Johnny Depp. He doesn't watch any of his films. And I always thought that was interesting. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to judge what I do anymore. Like, because somebody's always going to judge it. but I'm not gonna judge it. I'm gonna either like it or I don't know. I'm just gonna go, okay, I made something. Yay! I made something. And not take it so seriously, because it's art and creation is what we're here on the planet to do. It's serious, but at the same time it isn't. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm babbling, but anyway.
No, I know exactly what you mean. It's get to this place of equanimity where you do something, but you don't let it take you to the moon anymore. You because if you let it take you up all the way there, it's just gonna drop you off too as well. But that's at the same time, you don't want to get to a place where you're like, like so down on yourself. It doesn't make it's because that's not why you started playing music in the first place. Like that's not healthy either. You just get to this place of where you create something, you work as hard as you can on it, and then you let it go. Like your daughter. Like your daughter, like watching some of the videos that you've posted up of her singing with you, and then just watching your face as you're playing and she's singing, like you're just gushing with like pride, and it's amazing the job that you've done as a mom to your young princess over there. Like me being a dad now of a daughter, like the work that you do now has a deeper significance to me. Like I was like, wow, she did this in the midst of being a parent. Like this is a Herculean effort. Like
and having emotional difficulties, health issues. I don't know if you know that I was in rehab. Like I've had a hard time.
Yeah.
So, but I didn't take care of her alone. I did have her father's parents were very helpful. But the first 10 years of her life, I would say 10 to 12 years of her life, yeah, I pushed her to do creative things, and I used my money to put her in programs. And anytime that I was like a musical director or doing anything with theater, I put her in it. Or anytime that I was having gigs, like she would come to my gigs and fall asleep on the couch. But I remember one time she was literally 5 years old and she sang in the restaurant and somebody gave her $40. So I mean, I used to bring her everywhere. Like, one time she sang like 1 o'clock in the morning. I brought her to this spot, the Village Underground, where they used to have Cheryl Pepsi Riley, and she sang a Michael Jackson song at like 1 o'clock in the morning, and she was so young, and I just wanted her to have that experience. And recently, and when she was 9, she sang at the Cutting Room with a full band. She did 2 songs, and I have the recordings, and I was like, Lil, and I sang backup for her. She was 9, I was singing backup for her. I was like, Lil, do you know how awesome this is? Like, I was listening to it the other day. Like, what 9-year-old is singing with a band in New York City?
Unbelievable.
Oh my gosh, but I am so proud of her. Like, she's into varsity volleyball now, but she sings like well, she was in this program called Star Kids for like 6 years when I was the accompanist there.
Mhm.
But now, like last year, they had a fashion show at her school, and she was asked to perform, and they never ever had a performance in the whole history of their fashion shows. The school is a trade school, so they asked her to do that. And I was like, "You go, girl. You just." She really blows my mind sometimes. It's like
Mhm.
from the time she was a child, like me, she was like copying what I was doing, and I was copying my mother. So it kind of just so you don't you know your daughter is gonna do the same. She's gonna see you doing your thing. She'll be like, "What's that, Daddy?" And
The guitar, she goes, Dada. She just sees the guitar, she goes, Dada.
oh
Man, it's
yeah.
been amazing. Like I I see you and videos that you post to Lil, and I'm like, oh, I don't I don't want my little Luna to grow up. Because right now she's like approaching 2 years old, and she's like, I don't want to get emotional now. She's just like saying, hi. And
Oh yeah.
árbol, some words in Spanish, and thank you, and
Oh, it's so cute.
can't deal with the cuteness. And I want to freeze time because I know that it's just slipping out of my hands constantly. And I'm so glad, that my business is, I can work from home, and then I can see all the small little moments, that I might have missed otherwise. I consider that the trade-off, right now, for other things. And yeah, she's really kind of, she's made everything better, and she's really made time, my view of time, more significant. Like I used to just, whatever, I maybe I'll be there, well, I stopped that, but I was more frivolous with my time. And sometimes I still dip, but I always come back. I just look at a picture, I'm like, gotta get to it, And it's been really like that. Now I'm like finally doing the podcast. I'm like, I have to do these things that I said I was gonna do them. I got to do them because she's watching me. She may be two. She may not understand anything. I don't care. Like if I say I'm doing something, I want her to see that I do the damn thing.
That's right. And still, I still want to have accomplishments on a higher level due to, my daughter being 17 and like, no, you can do anything at any age. It doesn't matter. Just keep going. Just keep going. You don't give up. You don't give up. And, you got to be a warrior in life. You just, no matter what comes your way, you just strap up your boots and you just keep going. Because, when you want to be yourself and you want to be an artist, it's probably one of the most difficult roads. Because it's like, you don't necessarily fit into society, or your viewpoints are different, or I don't know, maybe that's just for me, but
True. It's true.
yeah. And it's like you have to get out of your own way. You have to get out.
It's an unconventional life. It's not your everyday kind of life. No, let's not mince words here. Like it is what it is. Like you got to be made of some strong stuff. Like I look at musicians and artists as natural entrepreneurs. Like but even at the highest level, entrepreneurs are creatives. What the best entrepreneurs do is they surround themselves with teams. The best entrepreneur, and they're like, okay, I'm this, they have to work hard, but hard work is not what makes you succeed. It's like, that's part of it. But I mean, like if hard work was the reason why people got rich, then every freaking construction worker working a job right now or working for sanitation would be gazillionaires. No,
That's right.
It's really figuring out your skill set and how you can leverage it to the best possible opportunity. That Rock Around the House song, I'm gonna rock this down, rock it inside out. Like one of the first rock and roll songs. I don't know if that's the right one, but that guy had placed that song, like, he put out the record, he saved up his last dollar to make the record, he put it out and nothing happened with it, right? But this guy that was making this movie, like Rock Around the Clock, was like, it's like, we got to find a song for this movie, like troubled high school kids. And he went to his son was listening to this song, this song from this guy that wrote Rock Around the Rock Around the Clock. We're going to rock this town, rock it inside out. The kid was listening. He's like, what's that? And he's like, this is this new song. I love it. I love it. No one's heard of it, but I love it. And it got put in the movie. And rock and roll was born.
Yeah.
This little kid, So it was the placement and then the positioning, the leverage of that opportunity, of that work was positioned in such a way that it changed the landscape, the culture of America, So, that's, I opened up an online school recently, like it's called Heroes of Music Institute. And I just did one beginning guitar course, right? So I'm now in the business world, like just straight up like a commodity, like teaching guitar. Millions of people teach guitar, right? So I'm now in that marketplace and learning all these things about business. I would consider myself like I'm in my sophomore year of business, and it's freaking hard, but I see the potential in the business opportunities for this thing that I've created, and I look at it like this could happen. The potential for this is the same as like an album. If it's positioned correctly, if it's leveraged correctly, you're telling me, like, even the band that you had for that Al Gore benefit. I'm going to cut to that clip right now in post, that band could be working anywhere in the country.
Well, the drummer has played for everybody, and the bass player, he's doing his thing too. He's playing for a lot of, famous people. He's also a producer as well. So,
Shell, the fact that those guys got on stage with you says something about you. The fact that those two guys and those backup singers were fantastic as well. They were excellent as well. Excellent. I mean, that.
Yeah, and one of them is like a track coach, and that was Will, and Daisy is also an artist, songwriter. She sings a lot of like R&B style original material. But that was the only time we worked together. But they did a great job. They learned it quickly. They had nice energy, and it came together really nicely.
A stage full of New York killers.
Exactly.
Killers, like people that in 2 days. I don't know if maybe Nashville, but like New York blows my mind in that regard. That the quality of musicians here, if you get the right people, you give them your catalog. You can give them 2 albums worth in 2 days, or sometimes a day. The right players will be playing your material like they've been on the road with you for 2 years. Like,
it's true. There's a lot of sick ass musicians out there.
Sick musicians, sick musicians, and like, yeah, I mean, unbelievable. Yeah, so that crew that you had there was like that, like New York Killers, and yeah, I needed to tell you all these things, Shell, because it's sometimes we need reminding. Sometimes we need reminding of how great we are, like, because I'm like you, like I'll be like, oh, it's a little pitchy, or like, oh, maybe, like I could cut it again, or it's not, I could have done better. Like,
Yeah.
not our job. That's not our job. Our job is to do it the best that we can, put it out, then do the next one, But I would add this caveat, there does come a time, because I'm getting ready to put out a couple of new records right now, and I'm putting out the school made me realize people aren't going to find the school on its own. You got to bang the drum, and I'm banging the drum. Like this podcast is going to be connected to my school, because I'm doing educational things as well as like commentary on, like, I'm going to review your album, I'm going to talk about it, and like I'm going to cut this interview into it, because people need to hear these things, man. Fuck, this is good. This is great work that people have not heard, that need to hear this stuff, like people with not even an ounce of your talent, musicianship, skill, showmanship have focused on the business side and gotten the financial reward, or the visibility, which is really what we're talking about. The main thing for me, visibility. Put the album out, get the visibility, and then let people decide. You don't got to shove it down people's throat, but at least give them the opportunity to hear the work. And that's it. It's out of your hands. After that, on to the next album or project, show, whatever, So that I would add that it's the artist's responsibility, if they want, like, if it's their vocation, to get teams together. Like for me, I've struggled with video. The thing where I know what I would really do well in is music videos, like, and it's been an Achilles heel. And I admit, like, I need to reach out more and develop that skill, those teams. That's my goal for this coming year, is to develop teams around video, music video. Because when I listen back to my songs, I start seeing the visual. I'm an MTV. I came up with MTV. Like, I see the video in my mind. So right now, what we'll focus on is storyboarding, and then not even that so much, because it's not my job. It's my job to find the people and then open the door, and it may not be exactly how I want it. It doesn't matter, as long as it gets done. As long as it gets done and put out there into the world, What I want to focus on for next year is building teams around music video. Like, so this camera, I've been doing this material for like my schooling, and I'm getting better and better and better and better at it. I'm doing on TikTok, I do the Heroes of Music. It's HOM Institute, right? So I'm just doing videos, like, like going to the gym, like, how like your yoga path made you, brought your health back to you, I've been back in the gym as well, and losing a bunch of weight, like eating one meal a day. Like, I lost 10 pounds since last you saw me, Shell, at the last apartment, since January. 10 pounds. That's like, so why did I brought that? I lost my train of thought. Team.
I think you were gonna say the camera, using the making videos.
So getting your reps in, like, you gotta watch your food and go work out. You gotta put your time in the gym. You gotta watch your plate. Not once, not twice, every freaking day. Give yourself a day to go crazy. Sunday's my day. I go freaking crazy. I might destroy a bag of Doritos this Sunday. Like, I might just.
Wait, that's okay. I think I think that's good. It's like you have to live in society, so you can't just like torture yourself every single day. So it's like if you're doing the work Monday through Friday and you say Saturday I'm gonna have macaroni and cheese or whatever, and the rest of the time you're having smoothies and
Steak. I do,
salads and
I do steak. One steak every day. And I want to add more, like another steak. I want to see if I can add bacon to it or something. Like I need more meat. When I have my one meal, I make sure it's a big one. Like even if I want to throw. What I have noticed this is just what's working for me. I'm not recommending it to you or to anybody else watching this. Like what's worked for me, I would suffer from this tremendous brain fog and this plummeting energy mid-afternoon. Like when I had students or when I really needed to be digging in, my energy would plummet. I eliminated toast in the morning. Any kind of carbohydrate I eliminated from my diet in the mornings and mid-afternoons, and I had consistent energy throughout. And then if I needed to keep going into the night, I would just have my steak, maybe some veggies, but it's primarily just a big piece of meat, big piece of steak. And then I can still go into the evening and I would not have any kind of plunge. So all that's to say, Shell, all of that's to say is that I'm getting my reps in. I'm getting my reps
right.
in. In the video, I'm noticing like just crank out. If it's not with the fancy camera, it's with the phone. If it's not with the phone, it's with the GoPro. Just don't. It doesn't need to be so freaking fancy. It just needs to be done and repetitions.
That's right.
So
you got to utilize the tools that you got.
Exactly, and it's the same with business. Like for example, if I was your hypothetical manager, and maybe any managers watching this that want a phenomenal guaranteed like album full of like placements that's going to make you rich and her rich, Michelle DeAngelis, Angelism, go listen to that record right now. But for example, if you wanted to find said manager, right, I'd find out Rachel Platten's manager right now and like find their Facebook, find their Instagram, be their friend, interact with their content, interact with the stuff that they're posting. And be sincere about it, like that's really cool, blah, blah. And then build a relationship for there. And then the next day, find another manager, like who's Taylor Swift's manager, like email them or you message them or interact with their content that they're putting out into the world. Make one phone call like to someone that you think could benefit from listening to the album, a fan. Have you heard this first album that I did? Like, like that's business, that's outreach, that's building the bridge to build your network. It's what that's what worked for me in Radio Mundial. I would go out into the street and give people flyers for shows, tell them, I'd email them direct after, get their email them like, have you heard the album, blah, 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 phone calls. Like I was relentless, and then I stopped. And then it showed in the work. It showed in the engagement. When you stop, when you cut out the fuse, when you think you can no longer stop doing the business side, then don't be surprised if business suffers. Don't automatically assume that your fans follow you to the next project. They got lives, like
that's right.
Things going on,
And I think sometimes when I was in the creation mode, it was coming from a place of like, I just want to make stuff that sounds good. But at the end of the day, you're doing it for others. Well, you're doing it for yourself, but ultimately, what is the purpose is to share, is to share our gifts with each other. So, sometimes I forget, like, I need to connect with people. So, that's something that I'm actually practicing now, how to like, and not only on social media, but in real life.
Yeah.
And I have
or
Mhm.
find the teams that will do that for you or with you.
Right.
You know, because
Right.
the creative takes an incredible amount of muscle. The creative takes an incredible amount of muscle. So let's not discount that. You're one of those people, you put your life into the things that you make. Let's not mince words here. You know, like, I know you, I've worked with you, I've seen you on stage, you give it your all. Look at your life, like, you give it your all. And that takes a creative muscle. You spent a lifetime nurturing that skill set and those muscles, you know, like business. Now that I'm in that world, like, or, you know, a little bit, it's another muscles. Like, yes, you can get in there and mix it up too, and you can do it creatively. Like, I looked at your TikTok. Like, I think you could dominate there. I think you could just make with your phone, just make videos. Don't you know, like, make videos, sing. That's it. Post it up. Make videos, sing. Don't worry about the quality. Just sing, post it up. Play these songs. Like, hey, do you like it? If you like it, here's the album. You know, play acoustic versions of it. Like, no, like, just reps. I'm doing it with my school, and I'm noticing today I had 4 new followers on TikTok. And I'm excited. It doesn't need to be like a gazillion at once, although it could happen. Ooh, that could happen too. I've been doing YouTube shorts and watching it build and build and build and build and build and build. Like, some videos on YouTube, that's what I would do for you. Like, YouTube shorts, because YouTube is really aggressively pushing whoever's creating shorts because they want to compete with TikTok. So, like, I have a couple of videos. I'm only like a couple of weeks into the game of YouTube shorts for promoting my business. And some videos have 2,000 views, 1,000 views, a couple hundred views. I'm like, people are watching and engaging, and like so I'm not even worried about, like, some people have been working YouTube for 10 years. They study it, and I'm like, I got work to do, you know, like, they work it because why? They want visibility and they want ownership of the thing that they create. So that's something that speaks to me, you know, because I've had major label deals. I've worked with the big dogs, you know, I know what that's all about. So one of those albums I own, one of them I don't, you know, and I see those royalty checks, you know, and like, I can see that, oh, this label, they own that, they're pushing that in this territory, and that territory. The album that I own, that I created with them, they don't push it because I own that. That's my job. That's my job. So the social media landscape right now, if you're creative, there's an avenue for you. I'm convinced of it, and watching it build on YouTube and TikTok and Facebook. I've been kind of pulling back from Facebook and Instagram because I'm focusing on a couple of things. I'm focusing on fewer and fewer things right now. Why? Because just because I can do these other things doesn't mean I should, right? Like play piano and sing. That's a lifetime. That takes a lifetime to get good at. You know, like, all you need to do is just put up your freaking phone and film yourself doing it. And that's it. Post it on YouTube. Post 15-second clips. On 15-second clips, 20-second clips. That's it. Some of these kids are putting up 15-second clips and they're killing it. They're killing it. And they're just reps. I'm not telling you to do that. I'm just sharing what's working for me right now, what I'm engaging in, and I'm doing fewer and fewer things to promote one particular thing. Like, going into Christmas, I'm only going to be doing Heroes of Music, my school. That's it. I'm just doing that probably. And then next year I'm going into artist mode for next year. And mind you, this is an album I finished last year, but I started putting I made the school because I wanted an asset. I wanted a digital asset that could bring in cash, right? But guess what? Lots of people have that idea. And lots of people are out promoting it. Now, that's not to say that I'm not going to get my market share. I will. But it requires my full attention right now. This is part of it. This is part of it. Like this hour that you and I have done together, you're going to be seeing your face and you're going to be hearing your audio if you follow my TikTok thing for a while, because there's a bunch of gems out here that can help people. Why? Because I got a gold plaque on my wall, and you're a fucking badass that's going to have one on your wall one day too, if not a platinum one. We're going to cut to this video like a couple years from now, or maybe a year. Look, we did it. No, but like that's for people like you and me that don't have teams. We have to work with the tools that we have to get visibility. Like, and that's I'll say it on that. Like, yes, because when you said like the creative side and the things that you focus on, it takes, I don't know about you, but when I'm done with it now, I'm wiped out. I have to celebrate, to have some kind of ceremony to celebrate because if I don't, I go into depression or some anxiety. And look at me, I'm a very extroverted, outgoing person. Like when depression hits is when I don't close doors, when I don't close chapters for me. And I have to do some kind of celebration, cake, whatever, a binge of whatever, eat whatever I want. I have to have some kind of ceremony to close that chapter so that I can go on to the next one, exercise, all of that. So I say that because I understand you, Shell. Like I understand the amount of spiritual, emotional, intellectual, physical power that you have to conjure to make something that you're proud of. It may come out of you very quickly. You may not give it a second thought. Sure. But when I hear Angelism, I'm like, this was worked. There was some thought and emotion into this. I'm a vet. It takes a lot for me to like want to call up Shell and make a video. It takes a lot. Like, why do I even give a shit? Like, why should anybody give a shit? Listen to it and tell me if you don't give a shit. Like,
well, I felt like that.
One final thing. Don't forget where your thought. I bet people will listen to that album and want to cover some of those songs. Okay,
that would be amazing. I actually have this song called Going My Way. And this young girl, this was back in 2014, named Sophie something or other. She recorded it, a rough version, and she had this like really cool voice. And I have a recording of it. It was just like a guide vocal, and I was like, oh my gosh, this sounds so cool with her voice. And I was like, wow, I'd really love for other people to utilize my material, because I don't always want to perform. Like, I actually do have my first gig in Atlantic City coming up this coming Friday, the 14th of October. So I haven't performed for a while. I took a really long break. So I'm kind of gathering my thoughts about what I'm going to sing and, how I'm going to approach it. And, I don't want to just do random gigs like I was doing in the past. I really want to like create, something, I guess I'm going to utilize stories and, why I've chosen certain material or, because the songs are endless. And like, I think everybody relates to songs in a different way, like different time periods of your life, like why a particular song is like speaking to you, and that's one of the magic magical things about music. So anyway, I'm looking forward to that. Kind of trying not to stress myself.
I hear you. Yeah,
Yeah.
I hear you. Like getting on people, one could argue that, recording yourself, putting it out into the world, even as we're doing right now, is a stage unto itself. One could say that, right? And it is. But this past summer, I was invited to play at my music program's anniversary party. It was an outdoor bandshell show. I was going to sing a Nirvana song. I was stressing out so much because I wanted to do such a good job. And when I got there, I murdered it. I mean, the whole place was on their feet. We killed it, right? And from then on, the whole evening shifted. When you
Which Nirvana tune?
what's the song? I'm so happy because today I found one. I killed it, right? And I was performing with some of the younger generation, this one girl and some guitar players, and I made it into a duet. I got there and there was no musical director. I just took control of the situation. I was like, okay, look, we're going to sing these lines to each other. It's going to be some man, woman stuff, and people are going to go crazy. We did that, and that's exactly what happened. People went ape shit. But in the rehearsal, I took control, and the band's busting my balls because these guys know me from high school, and then nobody comes to talk to me afterwards. I'm like, what? I was like, did I screw up? What happened? Was I an asshole again? What happened? I mean, but it ended up being that it was just so good. No one wanted to talk to us, but that's all to say that it takes guts to get on stage and sing into a microphone, play your piano, play your guitar, and show who you are. Okay? It takes guts, courage, that people, it's many people's dream to do what you and I do. Fuck that we're not in stadiums. Forget that. The truth is that the courage it requires to get on any freaking stage, whether it's 5 people, 500 people, 500,000 people, it takes courage that most people walking the planet do not have. So the butterflies and the anxiety that you're feeling, I know exactly what you're feeling. I prepared my ass off. Let me tell you what I did. On the flight down to Miami, I was going over the lyrics in my head. I was thinking of how I wanted my body to be on stage, where I wanted the vocal to be performed, because I've been taking voice lessons for the last year and a half, 2 years, and it's really helped my voice and placement, and I'm learning all these things, and I'm like, oh, why didn't I do this 20 years ago? Because there wasn't the internet 20 years ago, okay? So I'm doing all this stuff, and I was really proud and excited to perform, and I'm very proud of the job that I did. But all of those things, and then I was mentally preparing myself. Physically, I was getting ready for one song, all this preparation. I was still having even backstage, I told the band, I was like, I'm nervous. And they looked at me like, what are you nervous about? You've been on stage with Santana. He's done you've been around the world. This is Nirvana. Don't think about it. My bandmates came to my rescue. And that's why that's another reason why I flew down, because I love the guys that I performed with and that were part of that music program. I love these guys. I couldn't wait to get down and perform with them, and just share the stage with them again. They were just such great guys, and they had my back. I told them afterwards, I was like, dude, thank you for saying, what are you thanking us for? Thank you for saying what you said to me before we went on stage. And they were like, what do we say to you? Like you need people like that. You need people that go into the fire with you. Because I know how New York, those New York killers that we talked about earlier, those guys cost money. And sometimes you hire a dud. Sometimes you hire a dud that they're thinking about is they're on their phone on stage with you, they're looking out the door, whatever. Like, why am I paying you, man? Like,
it is a job. It is a job, and I think I accepted that a while ago. Like, this is a profession, and you want to be like serious about it. Yeah, you don't want to be playing with people and not there at the same time. You want to be present.
I've never seen you phone it in, Shell. I've never seen you phone it in. I've hired you for keyboard only stuff. That thing we did for Anthony, and you were in a state. I saw you were like, you had that artist sensitivity to what you were putting down, that needs to be respected and protected. I've never seen you phone it in. I've seen you back up other artists too, and you're always smiling, grooving. I've hired you to be my MD, and I have it on video. You're there rocking with me, like.
I love your songs. That's why.
I've hired guys that they're not there with you. For me, I'm speaking from my experience. Like, sometimes I've rushed to the stage just because I wanted to be on stage with the wrong motherfuckers, man. Like this. Why did I hire this person? And it's my fault. I can't put it on them because I did not vet them enough. I didn't do my due diligence and like walk through scenarios. Like, hey, my mic goes out. What are you gonna do? Hey, you can't hear the cues. What are you gonna do? Play this. Can you play me how you end this song? Let's run these things. What do you need? You need sheet music? Like, I'm also there for them too. So it's my responsibility, because at the end of the day, it's my name on the marquee. And if I didn't when I hire a musician, like my mindset moving forward is like, if I hire a guy, I work for this musician. It's my job to make sure they have everything they need to succeed. Because if I've hired them, they are my responsibility. I don't used to look at it like, you better do your damn good job. I used to look at it like that in my younger, more abrasive days,
Well,
I look at it like I work for them. It's my job to give them everything that they need to succeed. Now, if they don't do it, it's still my fault. It's still my responsibility, because that's the nature. I can't put it on them. I chose to get on stage with them, and that's it. So I think it's very important, who you get on stage with. It just, when you're on stage with the right people, you feel like you can do anything. Mistakes become
that is true.
It becomes irrelevant. They're like, you turn into things. You turn them into magic moments on stage,
That is true. And I'm going back to playing solo for this one gig, and I was thinking about it, but I'm kind of okay with it right now, because
do it.
I can create whatever I feel like on the moment, and I don't need to tell anybody else what I'm doing. I could just be in my own planet.
Yeah, and listen, you play piano. Piano is like, you got bass, melody, chords, and rhythm, and then you got the lyrics on top. You got everything you need.
You said Nirvana, and I think I'm going to do a Nirvana song.
People will lose their mind.
Because they said, oh, it's like a classic rock type place. And I'm like, oh, gosh, what am I going to play? And I'm like, I don't want to play only classic rock, but definitely going to, because Tori Amos had done a Nirvana cover.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to...
Robert Glasper does an amazing version of Smells Like Teen Spirit. I don't know if you've heard it. I
I haven't. I'm gonna listen to that.
years ago, like I listened to it at Camaradas when I was working there, and I was like, it stopped me dead in my tracks. I was like, what the hell is this? This is amazing. It's amazing. Amazing. Yeah, I think that would be great. That'd be great. That'd be a great juxtaposition, like your feminine piano powerhouse with Nirvana song, like that's a beautiful marriage of those two worlds.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited. Kind of excited.
Awesome. You're gonna be awesome. Shell, thank you so much. Let's land the plane. Like thank you so much for taking this time to talk with me about this album that you did, Angelism. I was really floored when I listened to it. I was really blown away at the power of it. There was a sincerity there, and just the production alone, I was just like, this is quality. Everything's balanced so beautifully. I really wanted to talk with you, and I wanted you to be my first guest on the One Night Stand podcast.
Thank you.
Podcast. Oh, there is one more thing I wanted to ask you about, Shell. If you would it's about your piano style. This will connect, please. This will connect with. This connects. This. Why is it doing this? This is good. This connects with what you talked about when we talked about backing people up. This speaks to my point. Anybody watching this right now, this.
If we have only tonight, let's both get what we want. So come the morning light, we'll fade from each other's stars. Tell me how you want it, I can take you there. Every word's a sonnet, tailor-made for you with care. I can go faster or slower, somewhere in between. At the end, able to go follow and take you here, in our land of make-believe.
Dude, your piano style.
That's so pretty. Yeah.
Your piano style there. Can you please talk to me about what the hell are you doing there? I mean,
I really don't even know, but that's so beautiful. I want to see that clip. Like you have to send me that or a link or something.
I'm gonna post it up too again. I'm gonna it's indicative of your accompanying style. It's why I hired you back in the day I mean, this is after it, but when I heard you just voice and guitar and the way you complemented the song, the space that you occupied, it was just so. I looked at that clip and I'm like, that's a band that I want, right there. That's how you accompany somebody and elevate it. You know what I mean?
I just okay. So maybe because I played for so many years by myself, and I would want to hear different parts going on, or I don't really know. I guess I just kind of make things up.
So it was improvisational because we didn't rehearse. You were just making it right there. I kind of told you the chords, I think, and we played it. I mean, I'm so
I don't know. I've played many types of different songs, so it's probably me just feeling like, okay, this is maybe this kind of style, and then,
Got it.
you know,
Got it.
kind of just feeling the vibe and trying to create something that supports it.
When you started playing the piano.
Huh?
How old were you when you started playing the piano?
4.
This is where I cut to that clip right now. Like, that's why it's like so second nature to you.
It's strange. Like when I was 8 years old, I was the accompanist for the school choir. They like put me to work already, and
At 8.
at 8 years old, yes.
Jesus.
And so all throughout school, that's what I was doing, and I don't know. It's just something I enjoyed, or something that was, I just feel blessed. Like, I don't know. I sometimes, I don't even realize like my own skill. I think sometimes we take things for granted, or at least I have, definitely, for sure. But there's like, because there's so many musicians, right? There's so many, and there's so many amazing ones, and I'm like, oh, I'm not that great. Oh, I'm not that great. Always doing that business to myself. But
Cut that out.
yeah.
Cut that shit out. Cut that shit out, man.
Yeah. So that's probably another reason why, I didn't promote things as much, but
Again, that is part of your job, but also, it may be. I read this book. It was Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. He always talked about not being like, I don't want to be the smartest person in the room. I want to hire the smartest people in the room. And that is the fucking truth. Your genius is in your craft. You spent a lifetime doing that. Teams, get visible.
Yeah, I believe that. Yeah.
It's not that you'll show up to any gig that's promoting the record. I know that for a fact. You're the type of artist if you get a tour, you'll do those gigs. But I bet you, like, hey, what are we doing this afternoon? Is there a cafe that I can go play solo in? You'll do that. So I think it's team building. Like, it's promoting a record is hard. It's hard work. It's selling. It's sales like anything else. And I struggle with that too, because I came up in a family of salesmen, but like, I sell emotions. Like, it's the arts that took me down this path. It's funny though, because I always have this business side percolating in my head, and I can't help but feel this whole conversation was because, well, for a couple of things, because I wanted you to be my first guest because I love you and respect your work. Number 2 is that Angelism, I think, is a hidden gem. I honestly believe that it's one placement away from doing business for all parties involved.
That's what I would love to have happen.
Yeah.
Because there were a lot of people that did help me do different things, and you being one of them. And I do believe that I have enough material and enough, to be able to help a bunch of people. So part of me is like, oh, I gotta do this. So I don't know if you know this, but like in 2019, I was in a real bad car accident.
I know.
Yes. So when the car that came on the wrong side of the road at 60 miles per hour hit me, after I woke up, I got out of the car and I was like, hell no, you are not taking me from this planet because I got people here that need me. And I think, well, I know I was having some kind of spiritual experience and I was screaming this, at the top of my lungs, like, you're not going to take me. Like, because something told me, like, at that moment, like, no, you have too much you got to do, and you're doing it for others to bring them along. Like, you're here. There's a purpose, and so I understand this whole thing about teams because in my mind, that's how I've been functioning or hoping to function. I haven't executed it correctly yet, but in my mind, those are my thoughts that, you bring others along and that's how you do your thing, So.
Dude, I think that's gonna be my first viral video right there. What you just said.
I hope it goes viral.
Yeah, because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut like after you talk is like I'm not here for me. I still have things to do. I'm here for other people. That's my purpose. Cut. I'm gonna cut to you like, it's like that's amazing. That's an amazing story, Shell. That's an amazing. Just the fact that you survived that. It's a testament.
There were a lot of things I survived. And someday a book will come from that. Like I wasn't joking when I said you got to be a warrior, because in order for me to even have this conversation with you today where I'm revisiting old material, like I've had to overcome my own mental stuff, and like a lot of it has been really hard. It's been hard as fuck. So like, yeah.
You're something else, Shell. You're something else, That's awesome. That is so freaking awesome. I mean, I can't even put it into words. I think I'm just going to shut up. Shell, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me. I really appreciate you. And you're a special person, special mom, special artist, and a million other things that I'm forgetting to say right now. But I just thank you for making time to talk with me.
Of course. Thank you for having me. It was awesome.
All right. Love you. I'll talk to you soon.
Love you too. Okay. Bye.
If you're enjoying this video, please remember to comment and subscribe.